How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the To Be Decided podcast. This week's episode is dedicated to the media of music. So in the last few weeks, we've been doing things like gaming, movies, books. And now here we are with the music. And what is your favourite type of music? What's your favourite type of genre? What is what's your go-to? What's your go-to listen to? What do you put on the most? Is there something that you like to listen to more than anything else? Is it a favorite? Is it from a favorite movie? Maybe we can combine them. We've got a couple of combinations there. Is it like maybe it was a book to go movie that and the favorite song was in it? I don't know. Let us know if you got something. Just throw it out in the comments, and we'll go through people's comments if and when they come up. Should they come up for this evening's
and most importantly, Mr. Steve.
Yes.
For anybody in chat, what is this song that you cannot abide? Because I want to know, what song do you hate more than any other song on this earth? I feel like that's just as interesting as your favourite song.
Yes, yeah. Do you know what? I hadn't considered that as an option, because it's like I always think of my favourite songs, or something that I like to listen to, something that reminds me of a time. I mean, there's songs that I won't listen to now because it's for personal reasons. It reminds me of a certain situation that I don't want to be reminded of, and that's not necessarily because it's a bad song. It's just, unfortunately.
Oh yeah, I'm talking about like if you're listening to the radio. And a song comes on, what are you immediately turning it off for?
No, that I do get, and I do understand. There is something that I've turned off, and do you know what? Probably because I do turn it off, I can't really pinpoint it as such right at the moment. I'll come away from this podcast and go, damn, that was the one I was thinking of. But there has been times when I've just turned the music down, and it's just because it's played on the radio like so many times. It's something that I've heard a million times, and I know that if it's commercial radio, even non-commercial radio, if it's current in terms of the music charts, if it's current, they have to. They're obliged to play that particular song.
Yeah. Every
sort of like 2 to 3 hours, and you're like, oh god, I can't listen to this. That's a very interesting one. I'll have to come back to you on my personal one. I'll have to come back to that later. I'll let you know. It might come to me all of a sudden, but hopefully, if it does. Saying of which, do you have something that is there something that you don't particularly like? Is there a song that you just go, you know what?
There are so many.
Oh, okay.
So many. The most recent one for me is the song that's used in the Jet 2 holiday ad, because I can't think of anything else, but nothing beats a Jet 2 holiday. And the song now it makes me irrationally angry.
Actually. That is one that I hadn't really thought of.
Like, if it's on the ad, I don't mind because it's an advert. But if it's the actual song and it's not the ad, I feel like an indescribable rage go through my body.
Like with the reading, I pretty much pick any genre, and I liked a lot from certain points of genres, and it could be anything. With music, it's not quite that. It doesn't quite tick all the boxes, not all of it. There's certain genres I just won't abide to, and look, my taste in music isn't always going to be for everybody, but so it does work both ways, and I can understand that. But there is a couple of genres I just don't get on with at all. I think it's more like I don't know if it classed as like rap music or anything like that. I don't know if that's something that's still a thing, because I just don't listen to today's charts. Was it a couple of years ago? Talking of chart shows, there was the listen to the chart show, and they said this is first time. It was like 2023. It wasn't that long ago. It was a couple of years ago. And they said this is the first charts that they've had since charts have began, when there's been no bands. like regardless of whether it's boy bands, girl bands, or live music playing. It's all been.
I think a lot of artists would be making a comeback.
Yeah, they are now. I mean, if you look at like in recent years, like last year, you had like Oasis becoming a big, making they decided they wanted to come back. They're looking at their retirement pot. Let's be honest. That was a retirement fund.
100%.
I mean, like
100%.
money was thinning, and the two brothers hadn't spoken in decades, and then all of a sudden,
nothing to bring family together like a good old paycheck.
Exactly. Yeah. No. So, like, it's good to see that there's some bands now coming back again. But it was that chart that I heard in 2023. It was just interesting because, like, since music's began, it's most of what I consider to be good music is anything that's a live band. That's my go-to. I think with, you got people who might influence you in a way of like saying, have you heard this, this and this? And you go, yes, no, whatever. And you go, I'm not really into R&B. I'm not really into like, I'm not really into jazz, but there might be something that I'll go, oh, I like that sound. I like that particular song, but that's about it. But then I don't go to it's not a go-to thing. So for me, music starts off with pretty much like a rock sort of music, mostly live bands. I mean, I've done my fair share of concerts, which, and I know that even solo artists who are more garage kind of music, that style of music, that's not for me. Not interested. But again, like I said before, I'm, what I like, not everyone else does. So, it's fair. It's open.
Yeah. I mean, I've got to be honest, my music taste is, as I'm sure you're aware, a bit eclectic. The majority of what I listen to at the moment is musicals, which we'll talk about at a later date. But in terms of like non-musicals music, I'm one of those people that I don't listen to like a particular genre or a particular artist or a particular band. I have to listen to music by like vibes.
Yeah.
So all of my Spotify playlists are a certain vibe, and depending on how I'm feeling on the day, sorry, that's my timer. Depending on how I'm feeling on the day, depends on which playlist I choose. So I've got ones for when I'm feeling, a bit more emo and I want something a little bit heavier. I've got ones for when I want songs that are just absolute shit posts in musical form. I've got ones for like the industrial heavy metal that I used to listen to as a teenager. And then I've got ones for just today is a nice day out and I fancy listening to some chill music that I can sing along to. But in terms of like stuff that I don't really touch, you've already said it. I think it's probably a bit of a controversial opinion, but I can't really do jazz.
Yeah.
I might find like one jazz song that I like, but it's not really my thing. I'm autistic. I like my music to be structured. Yeah.
No, I get that totally. As I said, I already mentioned it with the jazz thing, but like there are other genres. I might like again. I think I've already said this once, but just to go back to what I was saying, like. I was actually saying it in chat, actually, funny enough. Country music. Like, you might hear a particular song that is considered to be country, but it's catchy because it's played through all, on the radio stations and stuff, and it becomes in the mainstream. And it's like, okay, so it could be one particular country. So you might like that. So I'm not going to say I don't like country, but I do like maybe what comes out of that. And I'm not saying that that's just as a general thing. Like for me, like again, repeating what we've already said about the jazz. Yeah, I might like a particular piece of jazz music, one particular song that I've gone, oh, actually, I like that. Yeah, even again, R&B. It's not something I'd listen to. It's not something I tend to
So
like.
it's not really up my alleyway.
No, but there may be a movie that I'll watch, and it might have that one track that reminds me of that particular scene. Or if it's a fast-paced action thriller, and then they're playing in the background, they're playing a particular piece of music, and you're like, actually, I like that song. But yeah, I think,
you know what? It's interesting you say that. I have that specifically with the James Bond films.
All right, okay, yeah.
The opening music for the James Bond films always slaps.
Right.
I'm talking like Adele's Skyfall. Is on one of the playlists.
Yeah.
What was the one by Sam Smith? Writings on the Wall. Sam
Right.
Smith is an absolute utter piece of shit. But it's a really good song, so I have to listen to it. And it is purely because of how it was performed for the film.
Right. This is very interesting, Kate, because this comes back to my earlier stream. I was playing the new James Bond game, 007 First Light, and
very nice.
You say about like the some of the intro songs like slap. This one has a particularly good one, and honestly, I can't think of. I'm just going to look it up, see whether or not it comes up. Let me just quick, because I wasn't expecting to actually speak about this, so I haven't actually got it. There we go. So if I just quickly find out who it is, Lana Del Rey sings the actual opening title song.
I'm a fan of Lana Del Rey. Yeah.
So yeah. Not to spoil anything for the game itself, and I know we are talking about the music. The opening, like prelude, is that what you? Yeah. But that's like the opening part of the game is the same as like when you're watching the film, and it's like, oh, now the titles come up, and then as the title comes up, the music starts playing, and that is actually quite a good one. So yeah, interesting you mentioned that. After I've just played I've played for about 7 hours. I started about 10 o'clock this morning, finished like around 5:30. I'm like, I better go and get some food and get ready for tonight's stream. To this podcast. I was like, oh right, but yeah, I played it for about 7 hours, 7.5 hours. Half hour of that was me like messing up a few times, but
only half an hour.
I mean, maybe. I'm trying to give myself credit.
Admit, in terms of music relating to other media, like this is a personal opinion, right? I do not speak for the podcast. I do not speak for Steve. But for me, music, especially within like films and TV, can make or break what you're watching.
Yeah.
I am a very big surveyor of music. I enjoy technically complicated and deep pieces, and I like when something really not just fits what you're watching, but like helps it progress. But one thing that I always love to see is, and I'm thinking like franchises in particular, is when a piece of music becomes a brand. So yeah. I'm talking the Friends theme tune.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I get you.
That was a song before Friends.
Yes, it was.
It is now the Friends theme tune.
Yeah.
Everybody knows it. Nobody can listen to it without picturing the couch and the umbrellas and the clap, 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 clap. I'm talking The Big Bang Theory. That opening music is very, like, memorable. And even to an extent, if you think about the opening of every piece of MCU work, as soon as you hear that music, you know what's coming.
Yeah. Okay?
And when it's done well, I think it kind of, like, it evokes a kind of emotion. So I haven't seen, apologies, this is a bit of an aside, but I haven't seen the most recent 2 Fantastic Beasts films because fuck Jowl and Carling Rowling. Again, my personal opinion. But when the first one came out, and it hadn't come out that Jolly Howling Rowling as a turf. Me and Mr. Bingley went to go watch it in the cinema, because I was a huge Harry Potter nerd growing up. And when I tell you, opening scene, the Hogwarts theme music started, I cried. Like, I had literal tears running down my face, and Mr. Bingley was laughing at me in the cinema, asking why I'm crying, because it hasn't even started yet.
Yeah.
But I think, especially when you are like at an impressionable age, if you're watching something and it resonates with you, you kind of like lock the music away. And listening to it again is a wonderful way to kind of bring back how you felt at the time.
Yeah, no, I get that. And because you said about like, as soon as you said about music, MCU in particular, I think that first block of 10 years, like the whole Thanos sort of era of the MCU in particular, like maybe even still to this day, like even the newer ones. But for me, I think the best films, and I think it's going to be kind of obvious where I'm going on this one, the best films that had the better music in was the Guardians of the Galaxy tapes.
I mean, 70s and 80s, it was classic. Yeah. It was catchy. Yes. Like, I have that playlist saved on Spotify, just the film soundtrack, because it's just every song is a bop.
Yeah, and they done. I think they hit the nail on the head on every. They hit it at the park on every film. Maybe the films themselves, like a lot of people might disagree and that say, "Oh, the third one wasn't a great film." Do you know what? Musically, they were all good. I think they were a good choice of music. And I've never heard of Blue Suede before. Hooked on a Feeling. But then I hear it all the time, and it's like every time I hear it, I'm always thinking of, Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah, there's so many songs. I could just literally list so many of them. Like this, there was, obviously look, I Want You Back, the Jackson 5. The Groot scene, so everyone knows like where I'm talking about. The moment I say I want you back, you know exactly what music's playing, where at what part of the film.
People start doing the little dance.
Yeah. For all of the films that came out, I mean, even like obviously Iron Man had a lot of like the Ozzy Osbourne sort of like Black Sabbath. That was an obvious choice because it's the song, when it's quite literally "I am Iron Man" is what is part of the lyrics. But yeah, it's the AC/DC. I know that was a big thing as well in a lot of the Iron Man movies. But yeah, you can really hear, you can visualize the actual the scene by that one piece of music, whatever that piece of music is. And it's always can either set the emotions, like it just makes me feel happy. Maybe, if there's something that happens in the film and that one piece of music comes in, any time I listen to that music, it's like I'm either going to be happy, sad, or just a bit of both. Depending on that situation at the time when I remember watching it for the first time or for the 100th time, as it may be. But yeah, music really can make a big difference to a lot of movies. Excuse me. Yeah, but massively. Sorry.
While we're talking about it, we might as well touch on. I'm thinking particularly the Oscars for Best Original Score, because you can win awards for that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I'm just getting some. I mean, you've been able to get Oscars for music within TV and film since 1934.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy to me.
Yeah.
But if we were to look at, say, like last year's Oscars, and you look at some of the nominees for Best Original Score, you're looking things like Avatar: Fire and Ash, Captain America: Brave New World, House of Dynamite, Tron Ares, Wake Up Dead Man, Wicked for Good. All of these films, with probably the exception of Wicked for Good, they're not the... Let me think of how I want to phrase this. The music isn't the media that you're there to... Obviously take out Wicked, because that is a musical. But you think of Avatar: Fire and Ash. You don't go to watch an Avatar film for the soundtrack.
No.
But when you're there, if you try to watch that film without the music, it would be absolutely shit.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And like it's like you said, was it 1934? When music was put into film. Obviously, we're talking about like the silence films. So music was a big, like, how it developed, how the story developed, and if there's a certain action piece that they would speed up, it would be sped up, and it would be slowed down, depending on what was happening, just to give you that sense of like urgency or, dramatic sort of entrance to someone turning up, in that particular scene. It is, like you say, it would be absolutely shit if we had no music. It's very hard to watch a film without music. Like, I can almost tell by the soundtrack what someone was watching if I heard it in the background, just because of the pieces of music playing in it. I mean, one would stand out straight away. Without hearing dialogue, I would know instantly that I was watching Reservoir Dogs, because of the song choices played throughout, or Pulp Fiction. I think James Gunn and Quentin Tarantino seem to pick good music for their soundtrack. They seem to be able to just like I think for all of the films that I've seen them do, they've managed to get in some good bangers.
I absolutely agree. I mean, those two directors in particular, they're the kind of directors that understand exactly how every little piece of what they put in comes together. And you really can tell by the music choices. Like, it's not just about what you're seeing on the screen, but it's about how do they want you to feel, what kind of subliminal memories or feelings are they trying to invoke in you by using said music. Back to Guardians of the Galaxy, it was all that 70s, 80s music, not just because it fit thematically, but because it was all really, upbeat. It was dance music. It was cheesy. It was kind of the quintessential feeling of what an 80s comic book felt like. Yeah. And it doesn't even have to be the music words in it. I mean, if you think, how much of every horror film that you watch is scary because of the noise?
Yeah.
Think about it, the violins in the background, the vibrations, the way you can be watching a film and it feels completely normal, but if a bum note comes in and the music goes a little bit too sharp, suddenly it's a horror movie.
I think another one who is good at doing that, and because he does it himself, John Carpenter's, any of the films that he's done, he does a lot of his own music, and it is the score for the film. I mean, you think Danny Elfman. Danny Elfman, yeah.
Think about anything that Danny Elfman's done. I know that's more of like kids' films. He works quite closely with the likes of Tim Burton, but think of like The Nightmare Before Christmas. He knew exactly how he wanted that to feel. And if it wasn't for the music, it'd be a completely different film.
Again, it's like who can they're very distinctive as well. Like I was going to say, I was going to say something and I remembered something else. It's very distinctive. You can tell a Danny Elfman film from a Danny Elfman film compared to, say, a John Carpenter film. Or, I mean, obviously there's that, the obvious thing being John Carpenter is predominantly horror. And,
Yeah, but
it's them doing it.
Tim Burton's films was scored by Danny Elfman.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
You listen to it and you go, "This is a Danny Elfman."
It's their signature, isn't it? That's what they put. Yeah. It's John Williams' signature on all of the films that he's been involved with. And they all can blend in to one big thing, including some of the Harry Potter stuff. But you recognise it as that's who it is. Anyway. It's, even though there's been sequels and it's just they've used the music from what the original conductor had in mind. Even if they're not involved in the sequel directly, it's usually like, well, we're going to carry on doing these films without you, but let's just use your music anyway. But yeah, like, it's there are big directors out there who know exactly what they want from the film, and then the music plays a big part. And they're just.
I mean, I've always been a big believer that music is one of many windows into the soul, and any composer, any musician, any artist, if you're listening to their music, you are listening to a piece of themselves.
Yeah, it's true.
Which is why I think for these, films and TV, whereas the music is like so well fit and so well defined, that's kind of what they're doing. You're no longer just watching the film. You are now invested. You are living that film because the music drags you into it. Which kind of, if you don't mind us moving on to another point.
No, that's fine.
Brings me on to a question, because I love live music. I think the best way to listen to new music is to find the artist performing it live, because it's never going to be as good as how they want to do it. So, a question for you. You've said you've seen a couple of live performances.
Yeah. Who
was your best and why?
Right. I would go to. There's two bands. There's a couple of bands that I've seen live, but out of the ones that I've seen live, the best performance for how they delivered their music to the way in which it was portrayed on the stage. I think production-wise, I saw Iron Maiden at the O2 in 2017. I think it was 17 or 18. I can't remember roughly.
Which O2? Because I went to see them in, I think, Manchester around the same time.
Sorry, the London O2. Sorry,
we might have seen the same tour.
yeah. It was the Legacy of the Beast tour, and the production on that looked better than I've seen anything. Like the way that they changed the sets, the way that there was like one of the first songs they start bringing out, and then there's like a World War II playing above them, and you're like, that's good. And then there's like they get later on as the production goes on, and it is a performance. It's not just the music, it's a performance. It's like seeing there's a little bit of scenery behind. You got Bruce up on the stage with like flamethrowers strapped to his wrists, and he's frying off these. I mean, I've seen them a couple of times. The last one that I saw, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't the best. And it was like, well, I'm glad I see the best one, in what I think is their better concert, like for their production value, the way in which they brought the story alive. It's all of their Legacy of the Beast. It's all to do with because they work a video game, Legacy of the Beast, and it was all to do with the music. And every time a song come on, it was like, right, we're changing the scenery, and we're bringing on loads of different props, and it looked good as well as sounded good. And that for me would be the best I've seen. My second best, where I was struggling with, was when I first saw Foo Fighters, and because they went on for nearly 3 hours, and that's a long time to be on the stage.
Time to be on stage.
So yeah, it's like, right, we're not leaving. I mean, that it's all it's all pantomime at the start. It's like we're not leaving until we get told to leave, but then there's like there is a cut-off point because of surrounding areas. But other than that, you know, the fact that you got nearly 3 hours of music was pretty good, and it was like they carried on going. It was one song after another. So that for me, they only fell behind because one was an indoor arena and one was an outdoor arena. So the outdoor arena, you didn't have the production. You couldn't really do the production as much because it was, you know, how do you hang scenery? There's nowhere for it to be hung. Whereas in indoor arena, it's all set. The stage is already set to be a stage production.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why that only lost out. But that's not their fault. That's just the choice of venue, really.
Choice of venue.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's my favourite live performance. Was the Legacy of the Beast concert in the London O2 Arena.
Nice.
What's yours?
Well, I've got a couple that kind of, you know, are definitely up there. I mean, the very first concert that I went to, I was 12, about to turn 13, and I was snuck into the Rammstein Purify tour by my godfather.
Oh, wow.
He bought us tickets and I had to lie and pretend I was 13. And for a first concert, let me tell you, it was intense. But that really just kind of set the bar for like live performances for me because, you know, the very first thing I saw was Rammstein, who are, first of all, very heavy music. You know, it's industrial metal, it's German, it's very visceral.
Yes.
And I loved it.
Yes.
But then to see the visualizations with it, you know, for the actual like Firefly song, for them to come out they came out in this big stone angel. And that in itself was so impressive to me as a you know, fairly young child. And then halfway through the song, fire came out of the wings. And, you know, we were in Newcastle Utility Arena, so the big one. We were about halfway back where the sound booth is in the middle. And when I tell you, when the fire came out of that angel, you could feel the wave of heat back at the sound booth. Like, it was insane. However, my favourite performer live is the only one that I've ever seen twice. And it's got to be Florence Walsh.
Okay.
Florence and the Machine. Do you know what? The first time I saw her was for the Lungs tour, because Lungs is one of my favourite albums, just in general, never mind from Florence. And again, my godfather got me tickets for Christmas, so we went and we saw her live. And this woman was barefoot, long flowy dresses, running to and from on the stage. Halfway through, she jumps off the stage and starts running up and down the stairs along the side. Like, not just of the stage, I'm talking like of the seating, like all the way around the arena. She had her security team actively chasing her, trying to get her to come down off the railings because it was a fall risk.
Yeah.
The stamina on that woman is insane. And it just... There was nobody in that arena who was not having a good time because she was having a good time. You know, that for me was like the peak of her career. She was energetic. She was loving her music. She was loving performing. And this year, in February, me, Yorkshire Bee, and one of my sisters went to see her again for her Witches tour, which was a Christmas present from my other sister. And it's 10 years later at this point, Steve. 10 years after I've seen this woman for Lungs. And it's exactly the same. Exactly the same. It was all energy. It was all love. And you know when you're watching somebody and you can just tell that, like, yeah, they're getting paid, but they're doing this because this is just what they enjoy doing. This is what brings them joy in life. And that's why they're here. I was lost for words. I mean, I think between the three of us, we've got the entire thing recorded, which we probably shouldn't have. But you couldn't help but get up and move and sing along. And the storytelling from for Witches tour was brilliant. You know, she had her Witches coven, the 4 dancers that she had with her the entire tour, and the storytelling, the movement, the difference between when the coven were on stage singing and dancing with her and those few songs where they would go for their water breaks, and you know, she would sing a solo song like Buckle, or I think another one she did on her own, I can't off my head. It was just so captivating. And you felt like everybody in that arena was also there because this is what brings them joy in life. Like, we were all united for a single purpose, and that was just love for music.
Yeah.
Which I think is the main reason why I love live music, because if you find the right artist, everybody in that room has something in common.
Yeah, it's funny because I was actually going to hope we would get into a conversation a little bit about live performances and stuff. And have you ever been to a bad concert, or has that always been just like a good live event? It's just been, you know, you've never been let down. I mean, I've got something, but
I've been to one which it wasn't necessarily bad, but I'd been basically given a pity invite to go with some people, right? So I felt very out of place. I was a teenager, I was full of anxiety, and it just, I think because of where I was and the kind of music it just wasn't where I needed to be at that time.
Yeah.
And that was actually Evanescence.
All right.
So wait, actually, no, I lie. It wasn't Evanescence. It was Paramore.
Oh, okay.
I mean, Paramore that we'd gone to see, but they did do a cover of an Evanescence song, which is why that was in my head. But
right.
I can enjoy some Paramore music, and I mean, Hayley Williams has got a cracking set of lungs on her. Like,
yeah.
The woman is insane.
Yeah.
But I think that's the only time whereas I was like listening to the music that they were performing, and I was thinking, you know, I actually genuinely prefer the studio version of this. And I would just rather be at home listening to this music on my phone.
So the reason I thought of this was because, like, I've been to concerts, and there've been ones where in fact I've been where there's loads of things that come into this category, not just concerts, but mostly because we're talking about music in this case. So I've been to concerts pre-COVID and post-COVID, and I will say, just people's etiquette in any situation has changed post-COVID. And this goes for, I think I mentioned it briefly with the movies episode that we did, where the etiquette has changed. I'd like to think concert is still kind of holding its own. Like, you go to a metal band or any sort of band, and because you're all like-minded, I like to think that we've all got the same common interest. We've all got the same goal. We all just want to have a good night. We all want to enjoy ourselves. But I think just post-COVID has ruined any sort of outing you can think of. But in this case, going to a concert, I went to, call them past their time if you will, but I still like them. I went to a Guns N' Roses concert literally it was like one of their first concerts they did after COVID. Security was awful. The crowd control was just diabolical. The way in which they wanted you to get in line because of yes, that we've got past this stage now, we can now intermingle with other people. But it's like they'd forgotten how to control the crowds. I was with a friend, and we was at this concert queuing up to get in. And normally we like to see like the warm-up acts beforehand. So, because sometimes you can be influenced, sometimes the warm-up acts can be a little bit better, you know, than the main artist. But either way, we wanted to get in, see who was playing. You can also get a sense of whether you like their stuff as well, so you can try and support them as much as the main artist. We never got in, even though we had, you know, the timing of it all was just ruined because of the way in which it was organised for people to try and get into to the stadium. And it was like, I don't remember it being this bad. What's happened? They started putting on wristbands. Sorry, Kate, I'm just going to finish off by saying they just putting off their wristbands, and then they realised it was taking too long. They didn't have it's like they didn't have the note. So they started handing out the wristbands and said, put them on yourself, and then moving along. It's like, it took you 2.5 hours to come to that decision. Fortunately, it was like we missed 2.5 hours. The band came on late because they were trying to accommodate people still trying to get in. So the concert was cut short an hour. Then you've got the sound mixers were not doing their job correctly, so the sound was awful right in the first 5 songs. Then there's the mass rush to try and get out, which again they hadn't.
That's always the worst part of live music, isn't it?
I have seen better since, but that was my worst experience. Again, I go back to the saying of it being who the band is. A lot of people say, "Oh, they should have retired by now," but like, they're just doing their retirement tours now. They probably don't need to, but they're doing it anyway. And I would say that they've, yes, I think people do tend to lose their voices over the years. Like, I think all of us change as we get older, and our voices do drop a little bit. But they're talking about like Axl Rose's voice not being as good as it used to be. Well, no, he's in his 60s, so. Yeah. But so should he have retired? Maybe, but if he's going to carry on doing stuff, if he's got, look, again, my taste in music might not be to everyone, so take with that as you will. But yeah. I just felt that particular concert was the worst I've ever been to in terms of unorganization. Again, it's 22 or something like that. So we're just coming out of that 21, 22 sort of like time when we were just getting used to being released into the wild, as it were, and being told we can do things again. But again, concert etiquette, I think, has gone downhill as well. And
it definitely has. I mean, I've got a couple of things to say about like the anecdote you just told. First off, being like etiquette, if you're surrounded by people who are just being dickheads, you're not going to enjoy the music no matter how good it is. Right? Me and Mr. Bingley went to see post-COVID Electric Six, who again, probably another band who perhaps shouldn't be touring anymore. That they were really big in the 90s. They're now, it's 30 years on.
Yeah.
First off, an aside, they sound exactly the fucking same. Like, it sounded like the studio recordings from the 90s. It was crazy. But as you know, Steve, I have a chronic illness.
Yes.
And, for some periods of time, I do need a walking aid.
Yeah.
I have my stick.
Yeah.
And as somebody who is, technically disabled with a pretty noticeable walking stick, I spent all night being jostled, being stood on, being pushed, and we were standing at the back of the room, like as far back as we could. And even so, it was just like people didn't care who was around them because they were there, and so they wanted to do what they wanted to do. And I think it's just, I remember as a teen going to, like 9 Inch Nails and Iron Maiden and seeing like mosh pits where you've got groups of big burly men who will stop everyone around them because somebody has gotten lost and they want to get out. So they will make a path and guide them out, and then they'll start again. And I think that is definitely like you said, the etiquette, the respect for the other people around you has been lost. Absolutely. Second, on the point of, should some people have retired? I've only got one thing to say. And that is, if Axl Rose's voice sounded so bad, I don't think it matters, because at the end of the day, you are still going to pay money to go and listen to Guns N' Roses.
Yeah.
You're not going to listen to the studio recording. You're going because it's Guns N' Roses.
Yeah.
It's a cash grab. You willingly participated in that. So
yeah.
you know, for me, it doesn't matter because you're going because it's Guns N' Roses.
Right. Yeah,
You know.
there should never ever be a complaint. Like you recorded it on your phone and posted it to social media. You were there,
Exactly.
so you knew what you were getting yourself into. Yeah, no, I do actually agree with that as well. It's a good, it's actually a good point to make. Because I actually have seen them pre and post COVID, and honestly, I think the organisation for me was what upset the second time I see it. The first time I see it, it was we didn't know what was around the corner, so it was a good night. The organisation, I can tell you, was there because I think the next band I saw after that was the Foo Fighters, and it was in the same stadium, and we're like, okay, so they've got themselves organised, they know what they're doing, and then literally. We closed down. We shut down for 2 years. We don't know what we're doing anymore. Anywhere you go, people have lost their minds. You can't even go on the roads anymore. I think people who passed their test during COVID didn't realise there were other road users that weren't driving.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think I think that's what it is. So they don't have the same pressure as driving when they're learning. I know that I've gone on a little tangent. I've gone a little bit off rail, but. Do you know what I mean? I think that whole post-COVID thing has definitely ruined a lot of social gatherings. Or in any, regardless of whatever it is, you know, I go back to like mentioning it at the movies. I just think I haven't been to a movies for a long time just because I'm too anxious about what I'm going to be faced with because it's been reported that there's more and more less respect now. But yeah, anyway, back to the music thing. Yeah. Look, I've enjoyed some concerts since, and I think one of my other favorite, again, it's an Iron Maiden concert, but they did a album tour of is it Shinjitsu? I think it was. What was that? Yeah, Shinjitsu album. That was actually, I was right at the front. But this is like after the COVID thing, so it was like 22, maybe, I don't know. Yeah, that was good. The concert doesn't compare to the Legacy of the Beast one, but yeah, the flames come out. Oh my god, we're like, maybe 5 rows back, and you could feel the heat. Yeah. It was just incredible in some ways, but again, other ways, it was like the whole mosh pits ruined it. Like I know that's part and parcel of like metal concerts, but I think this one was. I think when I was talking to my friend about this, we both come to the same kind of conclusion. It's the younger generation's idea from their parents going to watch concerts and saying, we used to have mosh pits when I was going to concerts, so now they've taken it on board themselves and saying, right, in that case, let's mosh pit every song. No, that's not how it works. And that's what we found throughout that whole evening, is that they were mosh pitting every song, and it's not, it's like
at that point, it's not a concert; it's a rave.
Yeah, and I get pushed about, and I know that's part of parcel of it, but it was not meant to have been that time. And like, I like to take away some kind of souvenir. I mean, I've got my memory of the evening, and that's all I've got, because trying to take a picture or a video of something. No chance. I wasn't losing my phone in the crowd just because he got knocked out of my hand. And that's what I was very conscious of the fact. Plus, I got elbowed in the throat as a result. So, Oh,
that's never good.
Yeah, so that was great. But yeah, no, it was good concert in terms of the music setup, but bad memories of it because of sustaining some kind of injury. Just because it was a whole different generation of wanting to be cool and like not really understanding that's how a mosh pit should work. And I couldn't. Yeah, I don't know. I just thought I mentioned that one as another bad experience, but
yeah,
all in all, it was good.
Mosh pits for me are a bit hit or miss.
Yeah,
I personally don't like to be in them, but I love to watch them.
Yeah,
I think part of it does stem from my godfather. So my godfather is a brilliant man, right? He is probably about 5'4". Okay, he's personal trainer, trampolinist, qualified for like GB gymnastics trampolining team. You know, he's an athlete. You know, he's very lithe. He's got the kind of, you know, the body type whereas he's like, so where you can tell somebody is deceptively strong.
Yeah.
Because he's not overly muscled, because he's a gymnast. He's a free runner, he's a trampolinist, but this man throws himself around like it's nobody's business in a mosh pit. So as a teen, you know, when we were going to Rammstein, Nine Inch Nails, Real Big Fish, you know, he's getting right up to the stage, and I mean, you can see, like, he is jelly. There are no bones in those limbs. This man is a rag doll, and he is throwing himself around, and he is letting 6'3" guys throw him around, you know, and he's like truly holding his own in a mosh pit. I love to watch it because that is where he thrives. He loves that kind of chaotic energy. I'm not a fan of being in them. I think they're a bit claustrophobic.
Yeah.
But pre-COVID, when I was in situations where there were mosh pits, I think, again, it comes back to that etiquette, because there was always a wall. You know, there was always a point of the mosh pit where you have somebody who wants to dance and be involved with the mosh pit, but they know that the people behind them do not want to be in a mosh pit.
Yes.
And there was always that kind of containment. You know, it was always like, it was very rare for me in the 2010s at least, to be in a place where there was a mosh pit and to be kind of jostled about or tried to be forced into the mosh pit.
Yeah.
Because people held the wall. You know, you respect the boundaries of the people around you. And again, I think it is just kind of like the people who were going to these things now post-COVID aren't anymore. And the newer kind of generation of people who are there in moshing, all they remember is the chaos. They don't remember the etiquette because they weren't the ones doing it at that time. So we've lost the people who are standing there, you know, arms across their chest, just bouncing people back into the middle, but not letting them get any further back.
Yeah.
Which is a shame, really, because, you know, everybody deserves to experience the music the way they want to. You know, if you're going to a live performance, you want to enjoy it the way that you want to enjoy it. If you're the kind of person who wants to sit up in the stands and just sit and listen to it, absolutely fair. Nobody should ever stop you from doing that. If you want to be in the middle of a crowd, throwing yourself around and moshing, again, you should have the right to enjoy that. But there is something to be said for just being a little bit self-aware. You know, look around you. Take note of the people around you. If you're the only person standing up in the seated area, the people behind you can't see. And if you're in a mosh and you are not staying within the same area, then you're just shoving people who don't want to be shoved.
Yeah, you're right. It is not. It is definitely a new type of thing where it's happened in recent years. Yeah, I'm with you on that whole thing of it's just people not really taking in their surroundings. And yeah, you're right. It was a thing before where you had a little bit more respect of like other people's around you, and yeah, it's lost now. It seems to be. It's a shame that it's lost because I think it does put a down on where I would like to be. Not to say I'll be doing this for the rest of my life, but I mean, actually, do you know what? Why not? I mean, as long as I can still enjoy going to events, I like to know that I can still enjoy the night for everything that should be involved. That's if I choose to just have a little bop to the music, I don't want to be pushed around, shoved in the back, pushed to one side. You know, like you said, there's no more boundaries anymore. There's no more.
Yeah.
That's gone now. So I hope. I'm just like to be. I want to be wishful thinking, I suppose, in some kind of hope that we might calm down in a couple of years or sooner. You know, maybe this is the last time we see it, or maybe last year was the last time we see it, and maybe this year's we've got a different attitude about us. I don't know. I mean, I'd like to think that we're just getting it out of our systems, but it's taken this a little bit longer than it should have done. I don't know if that's ever going to change, but yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, it has put me like the last time I went somewhere, I purposely stood by the back so I could still be on the floor standing. I mean, I guess I probably should start thinking about seating, because it can be a long concert sometimes. 3 hours is a long time to be stood up. Well, 3 hours plus, because you're doing, if you're there for the whole day, if you're there for the whole event, you're watching the warm-ups coming on. There might be two bands come on, play over 40-minute, 50-minute set. Then it's the main attraction coming on stage, and then they could do maybe 2.5 hours. So yeah, you are there for a long time standing up. So yeah, you get a little bit restless. You don't want to be pushed around as well when you're feeling that tired. And most concerts, especially ones that usually happen after the football season's closed. So a lot of stadiums are actual football stadiums, so they're outdoor arenas most of the time. And if it's warm, you're going to feel it as well. You're going to feel like the heat as well from the day. Oh, admittedly, a lot of these things take. They usually come on stage around at 8 o'clock. If it goes on for a couple of hours, it's what, 10:30 by the time it's finishing. It's 2.5 hours. You stood up outside. You want to have a good time. You don't want to come away going, music was okay, but been stumped on, been pushed about. And I'm not complaining about people's etiquette in terms of if you want to smoke, do what you want. You're not supposed to, but who's going to stop you? But having stood next to someone who's actually blowing smoke in your face, not always the best, but I don't care.
I think that is
the
difference, isn't it? It's the intent behind it.
Yeah.
I mean, when we went to see Real Big Fish, that was a closed stadium. I think that was Newcastle. What's the little one? Newcastle has it's not like an arena, but I think is it O2? I'm gonna have to look this up. But it's essentially like a little place upstairs in a building.
Yeah.
Let me see. Yeah, I think it is. O2 City Hall in Newcastle. And I don't know if you know who Real Big Fish are. They're a bit more hippie. They're very bouncy. It's very weed culture.
Yeah. You know? Yeah. No,
if you know them, then for chat's sake, But people were smoking inside, and the building managers must have said it was okay. It was weed, right? But everyone was aiming smoke up, and there were areas. Pardon me, I'll start again. There were areas where you could stand where people around you weren't smoking. They were only doing it right in front of the stage. Behind that, it was essentially a no smoking area. So it was fine. And, you could see people passing around joints. And at one point, the sax player stole some guy's joint and smoked it on stage, which was hilarious. But again, it was that respect of if you're not here to smoke, then you can still stand wherever you want. But if you don't want to be around it, you can stand here.
Yeah.
It all does just come back to etiquette and that consideration of your surroundings or people around you, and the fact that you are not the only person there to enjoy this.
Yeah, literally the only thing I can really add to it is just poor etiquette now has gone and has changed how I feel about wanting to go to other events. But yeah, I don't know. Until it actually, I don't know if it will ever change. I mean, I just want to hope that maybe it could.
Definitely. Well, onto something perhaps a bit more happy to talk about, because one thing I've been noticing recently is that we are getting a lot more people in the music industry being celebrated who previously would have been overlooked. And I just want to take a moment to celebrate that. If we look at the AMAs, so the American Music Awards for this year, these are, it's like the Grammys. It's not the Grammys, but it's similar. They've got, like the Grammys, like the Oscars, different categories, Artist of the Year, New Artist, Album of the Year, Song of the Year, Collaboration, Best Music Video, etc. I just want to highlight some of the nominations and who's won a couple of these, because I think it's really important to acknowledge how far the music industry has actually come in terms of celebrating people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, Artist of the Year, okay, you had some big names in there. You had the likes of Harry Styles, Bruno Mars, Justin Bieber, Kendrick Lamar, Lady Gaga, Sabrina Carpenter, Taylor Swift, very big hitters. The winner for Artist of the Year this year was BTS. Now, if that isn't a throwback, I don't know what is. But in the past, not just a boy pop group, but a K-pop group would never have been able to win that.
Right.
Not that they wouldn't have been good, but the bigger names, the solo artists, the typically, cis white or, token Latino would win to make a statement. This isn't the only Korean group that have won an award on this, which is huge for me because Korean groups have been so overlooked. If we look at, Album of the Year. You've got, again, a lot of big names. Cardi B's Am I the Drama, Lady Gaga for Mayhem, Tate McRae, So Close to What, naturally Taylor Swift, Life of a Showgirl. The winner was Sabrina Carpenter for Man's Best Friend, which I'm quite happy about. She put a lot of effort into that album and it was really good. But then you come down to Song of the Year. And again, Sabrina Carpenter for Man-Child, Taylor Swift, The Fate of Ophelia, Alex Warren's Ordinary, even Ella Langley, Choosing Texas, which I believe is a country song. Do you want to take a guess at who won Song of the Year at the AMAs this year?
I want to say because maybe the BTS again.
No.
Did they not? Oh.
No. It was the singers of Huntrix. The song Golden won Song of the Year.
Oh, right. Okay. Oh.
Okay. So, not just as, again, another Korean group. It's a Korean girl group, pop group, from a musical animated film. That combination would never have won in the past. That would have been so overlooked as, being for kids or not being serious enough or just being too other to be given the recognition that it has. Huntrix went on to win, I think, another 2 awards. One for Best Vocal Performance and one for Best Soundtrack. They actually beat out Wicked for Good for Best Soundtrack this year. And to be honest, I can't even be mad about it. Because for once, we're actually seeing the judges of these big, American competitions, think the AMAs, the Oscars, the Grammys, and they're not just picking what's, the most popular, sold the most tickets. They're actually looking at how much time and effort, how much of their souls have these people put into their music, going back to what we said before. And the artists for K-pop Demon Hunters, I think it's, I don't know how you pronounce it, but it's EJAE, Audrey Nuna, and Ray Ami. The 3 of them, I mean, EJAE, I really don't know how you pronounce it, but she wrote a lot of that music. She was told she would never be part of a K-pop group because she looked too different. She didn't fit the mold of K-pop groups. So she poured her years of her life into creating K-pop Demon Hunters. And she's actually won awards for it now, which I just think we need to take a moment and actually celebrate that, because
Yeah,
there's
of
been
course.
so much in the past where K-pop groups in particular, but also just things that are slightly too outside the box, have been so brilliant, but because they've been outside of the box, they've not been allowed to shine. And I really do think we're taking a step in the right direction on that.
It's a good change, isn't it? A change of direction from like who are actually winning now, and it's putting a lot of people out there that you wouldn't have known about, because I wouldn't have known about any a lot of those, to be honest. Weren't even aware that that was a thing. So you announcing it now has made me sort of go, okay. Didn't really pay much attention to like a lot of what's been going on.
Well, I mean, it's not just the AMAs. Look at Eurovision, for example. I'm not going to talk too much on Eurovision because it pisses me off and I'm not going to get political. But Bangaranga was not a favourite to win.
No.
But the energy that Dara representing Bulgaria brought with the song Bangaranga, they won their victory with the highest margin of points ever in the public vote in Eurovision.
Yeah.
Obligatory shout out for Look Mum No Computer for getting a single pity point. Top notch, mate. When you bring out the merch, I'm buying some. Look Mum 1 point.
Yeah.
I think it was Finland who were the favourite to win this year. The one with the flaming violin.
Oh, right, yeah.
Visually beautiful. Performance wonderful. The music was brilliant. But to see, again, a group of fairly young people, one might call them underdogs, who have just performing a song that they just genuinely are happy to perform and are happy to put out into the world, and to see it be rewarded is such a big thing for me.
I don't want to get into it, but yeah, it's just it was an interesting outcome.
Yeah, it was an interesting outcome, and we'll not get too political, because otherwise I will get us banned. Is it just EJ then? Okay. I'm being told that the artist for the Huntrix is just EJ.
EJ.
I don't know.
All right.
Yeah.
No. One point. Don't go home with nil point.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's something, I suppose.
And a slight aside, I've also got to say, the only reason I watched the Eurovision this year was for Graham Norton.
Look, I was given the evening off. I was too tired to do anything, and I didn't want to just like to play games or anything like that. And I was like, it's on. Maybe I would watch it. I don't know. Maybe I'd give it a try. I mean, I've never had that evening off for a long time. I think on maybe one occasion I had that day off because it happened to be the same day that a Marvel film came out. So I booked the day off. But because of obviously my job and my, what I do, it means I don't often get the chance to watch this. But in the past, when it's been mentioned before, we would have drinking games, me and my friends, and we would just be on text mostly because we wouldn't be. But like, yeah, I remember one year was like that was the first year that Australia had entered. Like, how does that even work? Eurovision, we never quite understood it. But yeah, that was a big surprise. But it was the first time that they'd done that. And again, this year, I was like, since Australia came into it, I completely forgot because it's been a while. But we watch it. It is because of Graham Norton, because he's just witty. It's just like the
comedic timing.
Yes, exactly. I mean, he knows he's playing up to the camera without being on camera. It's just it's amazing what he's able to sort of just get away with. He knows what he's doing 100%. Like if you do, if you don't know what he's doing, then what you're doing, because you need to get involved and watch Eurovision. I hope he's able to do it for a little while longer before retiring. But yeah, if it weren't for him, I think I don't think I would watch it as much, well, at all, because, like I said, I
think it's going to be another QI situation personally, because when they announced that Stephen Fry was leaving QI, I said I'm not watching another episode when he goes, because who the hell could replace Stephen Fry? And then they brought on Sandy Toksvig, and it was just like you didn't realise that the show was missing Sandy Toksvig.
Yeah,
until she was there, and then you were like, "Why? Like, was there ever a time when she wasn't hosting QI?" I think they're going to try do a similar thing. When Bryn Morton's had enough, there's going to be somebody who nobody's going to be able to predict, and it's just going to be they're going to come on and they're going to do it, and it's going to be like, "Wait a minute, this is actually perfection."
I mean, who would fill that shoes? Rylan, maybe. Just as someone.
Who I'm thinking? Alan Carr.
Oh my God! Yes. We're actually, we go from Ireland to to Britain, or England, I suppose. But that's a weird one to be thinking about, because I never thought I'd be saying it. But yeah, that's actually interesting. Yeah, Alan Carr could be good.
Yeah, I feel like he'd be just kooky enough that it would make it entertaining.
Yeah. And you'd always have that vision of his, like, just features, like, obviously he's got a big overbite.
You'd be able to see him speaking.
You could, exactly. That's what I'm saying. You could see him with the glasses, the big overbite, and and you just know he's just constantly laughing. Yeah, that'd be an interesting take. Hopefully, he doesn't, come into it just yet. But if he did, that'd be great. So yeah, we're already lining up. The next host of Eurovision.
I'm not saying I want Graham Norton to stop.
Oh no, we're not saying that at all.
Concerned.
No, we're not saying that at all.
But if he did ever have to leave, I would happily watch Alan Carr do it. And
I never realised until you said it how much I did enjoy Sandy Toksvik's take on QI. So right. Yeah, what makes a good host? Sandy Toksvik, Graham Norton. I mean, who knew? But yes, we've got. So we're going to go to Bulgaria next year for the Euros.
Yeah.
Because it's the winner who hosts, isn't it? So yeah.
Yes, it is.
I worked with someone I worked with a couple of people from Bulgaria. Not just. This just sticks in my mind. It's something I never thought I'd be repeating, but I thought, what a brilliant reason for being late for work. So when I was working in central London about a few years ago, about 2015 now, it's probably. Yeah, we had this guy who worked there. Like I said, he was from Bulgaria, and he was late, like very late for him. Like, he's always very much on time. And I thought, what a brilliant excuse for being late. He said, "Yeah, sorry, I'm late. I had sex." I was like, "Well, there you go." That was the most honest, truthful thing you could ever come up with. Like, what was he going to say? Like, sorry, I was late. I got up late.
I mean, you got to respect the grind. You got to.
Right?
Literally, I mean.
And I just thought, it was because we were just talking about Bulgaria. It just reminds me of the Mikhail. He was a good laugh. He was a good guy. Yeah. Anyway, moving on from that. But there you go. Oh, Eurovision. Never thought we'd get onto that. I'm not going to lie. In terms of like music, you wouldn't be talking about any form of music, but yeah.
I mean, to be fair, I did say when it comes to music, we could easily do a couple of episodes on music. So I'm more than happy to come back and take like another aspect of music. But I think we've kind of fallen into live music tonight, haven't we?
More live music tonight, yeah. It's mostly, I'm glad, because I thought about that's exactly how I was trying to get this episode off the ground. I was always intended to speak about it, and I'm glad you did it first, because it goes to show that Brain Cell is definitely on form.
It's working overtime.
Oh, it's working overtime, because I had no idea that we would go down there, but if I could have got that mentioning that's where I wanted to go with, and we did. Live music, from concerts to live TV performances. That's what we've definitely discussed tonight. And concert etiquette comes into the same play as like any kind of etiquette wherever you are, but it goes to show that it's there. It's horrible, but it's there. Oh, poor etiquette's there is what I mean. Like, good etiquette doesn't seem to exist other than the people that you're with. Yeah. So I do you know what I think? I don't know if there's anything more we can add in terms of live music. If there's any sort of like, Florence and the Machine, something that I've looked at and gone, I wouldn't mind seeing them live. And I know I'm going back a little bit to when you mentioned it. I just thought I'd sort of quickly bring that back up because I've only seen.
She can edit it in at the right time.
Yeah, I was only thinking about it because of the only time I've actually seen live performances were I rewatched some of the performances. I think they did Glastonbury. They must have done Glastonbury because that is definitely their type of live event. It definitely they definitely fall into that sort of open air camping scenario, big venue like that. Something I don't think I could do. It's one of those types of camping things where you're I don't know if I could do that.
I've done them before. I'm not a huge fan, to be honest. It's a lot of sweaty people. It's a lot of camping, which already is a negative in my book. And it's just, I don't know. I would be fine going for like a day.
Yeah,
but
I would
those
take
things where it's like all weekend or like a full week. I'm just it's not for me.
I mean, a cost aside, it's just the uncomfortableness of knowing that you've got to use a chemical toilet and that's being used by 1,000 other people or maybe not even correctly, and that scares me. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean,
home comforts
no
and all
judgment
that.
there. Yeah.
Look, I've done camping. I've been, it was a school trip. We did camping, but it was on a proper campsite, so you had actual facilities available, which were much more homely, if that's even a thing, because it is camping, but it's built out of a concrete block is the point I'm getting to, and it was still, this porcelain thing rather than this plastic. That scares me. Knowing that you are there, also that you're paying the prices for full price for. Obviously, I know that vendors need to make their money, but it's expensive.
Paying £12 for a cork is a nightmare.
Yes, and it's the only ones they've got left is the warm ones at the back, where you open it and steam comes out because it's that bloody hot. Because a lot of these events can take place during the summer months, which is what we're going into. Obviously now, this is what I said earlier about it. As soon as football finishes, those stadiums get used, but there's also big fields. Glastonbury being the big one, one of the big ones. Good example of that. I don't know. I could never do those. I've watched them, and again, this is what I was saying about seeing Florence and the Machine, watching them live. It was probably because I watched them from my comfort of my own home. I'm going, this is actually really good. I like her energy. So yeah, I was nodding along to that, to when you was talking about the concerts, but that you've seen.
Honestly, she's just someone else. Like I've seen a couple of like bigger artists. I've seen the likes of like Bruno Mars and Ollie Murs, like the big 2010s artists.
Yeah.
And for me, there was just nobody who could match just the level of enthusiasm for being where they are.
The energy.
Yeah. Of just there was nobody else I've seen who wanted to be there as much as she did. And I think that was the cincher for me of that kind of enthusiasm is contagious. So if you ever get anybody listening, if you get the chance to go watch Florence and the Machine, fucking do it. You will not be disappointed.
One to add to my list. So that's something actually I was going to say. Coming into this is like being influenced by something and trying it out for the first time, trying out an artist or a band for the first time, whether you'd like them or not. Like I gave this a little bit of thought before we went on air. And I thought about all the times someone had suggested something and to whether I would stick with it. And it comes about from, I mean, when I was obviously younger, the reason I liked Iron Maidens, not because I came about them. I would never have found them if it weren't for someone telling me about them. Like I've got, an uncle who is very much into that type of music. So, if it weren't for him, I might not have come across them. Again, outside of that, it's people who I work with over the years, or, even family who might change. Oh, did you know that so-and-so got this out? And, I might listen to it once. There's a lot of bands, a lot of single artists that I'd never thought about listening to. Yes, my go-to is kind of rock, but I don't mind listening to something different. That's what I said at the start. And then giving them a try. Like I think Gorillaz came out with a new album this year. I don't particularly like Gorillaz, but I liked some of their stuff. There's a couple of things that made it onto the mainstream, and I'm like, you know what? Some of their songs were okay, and it's not something I wouldn't watch them live. Not to say that.
Do you know
anyone...
what that was for me? Because I had something very similar, like this year.
Yeah.
And that was, I saw a live performance by Ray doing her song "Where Is My Husband."
Right. Okay.
I mean, I've heard the song. It's a big TikTok song, and it's catchy as hell. But seeing her perform it, I was genuinely like, you know what? I don't know any of her music. I don't really know her, know what she does. But I'd go watch her live. I think she would.
Yeah.
She looks like she's enjoying herself.
Yeah.
Although this does, I'm now having a throwback of myself. Because when you were talking about opening acts, there was a comment that I wanted to make. I think I have seen perhaps the weirdest choice for opening band in the history of weird choices for opening band. So me and Mr. Bingley went to see the reunion tour for Girls Aloud.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay. Because Girls Aloud are Mr. Bingley's guilty pleasure. When I'm telling you, like, I had my phone out at work and I was in the queue to buy tickets for like an hour. First, it was his Christmas present because I knew that he would just be over the moon. Now, think about Girls Aloud. Think about the kind of music that Girls Aloud is. Very early noughties, very girly pop, and it's Girls Aloud, right? It's classic. There was some, and granted, they were probably local, but there was some, the opening act was a one-man DJ. And not a particularly good one.
Right.
Not doing the fucking 2000s music. It was like, modern day rave music being DJ'd. And nobody in the crowd was enthused. Nobody knew who he was. Bless him. He was, he was doing what DJs do, and he was really trying to get the energy up, and he's excited for Girls Aloud to come out, and like, let's get you up and dancing for this next one, blah blah blah. And he fell so flat on his face. I think his nose is concave.
Oh no!
And I felt so bad for him because I was like, if you were opening for something ravey, or something that was like a DJ, you would probably have slapped my guy because he clearly knew what he was doing. But when you're going expecting, a live band and the voices of 4 to 5 women who have a very like classic, identifiable sound, and you get Jimmy the DJ from your nephew's 13th birthday party, it was like whiplash.
Yeah, that's a bit unfortunate. Yeah.
I was like, that is a choice, and it is not a good one.
Yeah, that was unfortunate.
It was very unfortunate, and I felt so bad for the guy.
Yeah.
But also, I have to tell people about it because I didn't know what was going on. I kind of thought I'd walked into the wrong arena.
Yeah. So that's where it's like, because I'm certain it's down to the main artists as to who they want to see like open for them, or give them a chance. Say, look, this is a band, we want to give them a chance and put them on, put them out there, as it were.
Mhm.
So I wonder how that was. It one of the girls said, look, I had this guy.
Well, I
fun.
don't know I don't know what they did for other performances on their tour. It wouldn't surprise me if everywhere they went, they found a local artist and gave them the chance.
Yeah.
Because that kind of exposure would be great. And, Cheryl Cole is from Newcastle, so it wouldn't surprise me if she wanted to give somebody the same chance.
Yeah.
But when I went to see Florence and the Machine, she was opened by Paloma Faith.
Yeah.
The woman who sings the like You Make Me Do Too Much Labour. And again, another very TikTok famous song. And the vibes were exactly the same. So it warmed up the crowd, because this is the kind of music that that they like, because they're here paying to listen to Florence and the Machine. When you're there paying to listen to Girls Aloud, that was not the choice to go with, my guy.
No, that's interesting. That is certainly that's one for the history books. That it's like, well, when it comes
to being a local singer,
yeah,
doing kind of like pop music or whatever, it probably could have worked. But I think it was the fact that it was not only like the lights were all on and it wasn't very full at the time because it's first opening act, but Girls Aloud, DJ from their mum's back garden. One of these things is not like the others.
No, I don't think I've experienced that. I would say, if anything, it's probably the opposite. Like in terms of someone opening for someone else, someone who's bigger than them. Wet Leg opened for Foo Fighters when I went to see Foo Fighters last. So I didn't know who Wet Leg were, and then I was like, oh, okay, typed them out and sort of like added a follow on Spotify or something, just so I've got. Again, it's one of those tried and tested bands. If I like them, I might get more into it. If I don't like them, then I've listened to them once and I know what they sound like, and I can just sort of cross it off and carry on. But yeah, I started hearing that they were doing like obviously things on the radio, songs on the radio coming up. I was like, oh, okay. And they're actually now touring as a result. Probably not as a result of Foo Fighters, but Foo Fighters helped lifted them. I would say, you can do that.
I actually saw a video on this today, Steve. I mean, if you look at like at one point, so recently, Sabrina Carpenter has opened for Taylor Swift on her Eras tour.
Mm-hmm.
At one point, Ariana Grande opened for Sabrina Carpenter. At one point, she opened for Justin Bieber, who at one point opened for someone else. Like, you see all of these big names, and it's like, okay, like, it is the way to get your name out there, and it does really help with your following. But I think it only helps with your following when you're opening for a band that is at least somewhat similar in the vibe.
Yeah. That obviously this is an exception of of what should work, and not what didn't work for like your DJ. But yeah, it's just look. I again, it's more about what did work, but seeing someone open for Green Day, for example, had their own set later that year on Glastonbury, and it's like,
wonderful.
You
love to see it.
Yeah. So, but small bands doing well because of a big band. I've said, look, do you want to open for us because we think you're really good, and it might actually gives them a bit of status. They can sort of say, well, we opened for the. Well, in this case, it would be like we opened for Foo Fighters, and they were really good to us. So grateful for them. And then they're actually doing tours. They're getting their songs on the radio, on
and
much wider.
Continues.
Yeah. So it's good. It's good to when it works well. But when
it doesn't work, it makes for a really interesting story on some Randall's podcast.
Yeah. Oh dear. Do you know what? We've been doing these, and I've been saying it every week. I've been enjoying this one as well. I've not felt in a position where I've gone, oh, I wish I hadn't said that. I always think I should have said it slightly different, but that's just after the effect. Yeah, no, I've been enjoying these podcasts recently, and I hopefully continue to do. It's like, no, I will. No, we definitely will continue to do these, and we're going to have a different one each time. But yeah, I'm looking forward to actually doing a lot more music stuff. I don't know if you've got anything else you want to add. I don't know. Like I said, we've been covering live stuff. But
yeah, for the sake of remembering to do it later, I know we've kind of spoken a lot about like live music. I do think we need to touch at some point on music within games. I think that's a really big area that we haven't talked about.
Oh yeah, of course.
And then we know what we're doing next week, which we'll not mention because spoilers. You'll have to come and listen to it like everybody else.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think maybe just have like a bit more of a chat about like, you know, our most listened to. I mean, I've got a funny story about my Spotify Wrapped last year, which I'll probably tell when we get to that point. But like I said, we could easily talk about music for 3 or 4 episodes.
Yeah, we could
easily.
Yeah, we've done that for the last few episodes. Episodes of this podcast, where we've just gone. Oh, we could talk about more books. We could talk about more movies. We can. We've got so much more to go.
And
to
we
give.
Will definitely circle back.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, do you want to? Is there anything you want to continue on with now, or should we start looking at wrapping up, or what? I don't mind.
I mean,
to do another.
We can start looking at wrapping up. We do have a quick game to play, but before we do wrap up, I do just want to say, for Mr. Steve, we need a congratulations.
All right.
Have gone an entire podcast episode without talking about a FAS update.
Do you know what? You're absolutely right.
Elephant in the room.
Elephant in the room. Dan.
Hands together. Well done, everybody. 10 out of 10.
10. Oh, wow.
Great work.
Obviously haven't
fucked it up anymore.
They've got nothing else to report just yet on that. There probably is. There probably has been some things, but I'm not going to get into it because
we'll talk about it later.
We'll do it another time.
Episode FAS free.
This is FAS free. The only time it's been mentioned is the fact that you mentioned that we haven't spoken about it. That's the only time it's got mentioned.
Yes, because we're being meta.
We are.
But other than that, I'm happy to wrap up.
Yeah. No, I mean, like I said, we've got so much we can talk about, but we'll come back round again at a later date. Because I was going to go down that. I thought about that as well, about, what is my favourites. I hadn't really thought about that. I don't think I answered your question as what's my worst song. And I couldn't tell you.
For next week.
I couldn't tell you what it is. There is, I just can't remember. I just couldn't think of it right now. And that's where I'm at this point. So, without further ado, though, I think if we're going to start wrapping up, do you want to take over this, the final part of the show?
Can do. So, I'm sure everybody in chat are regulars who come in and listen to it actually on Twitch, but if you're listening to this on Spotify or on YouTube, hi, welcome in. If this is your first episode, congrats, you've made it through almost all of an episode. If this is your first episode, go back and watch episodes 1 through 3, because we always like to end our podcast with a fun little game. I'm looking for the jingle. Where is the jingle? There it is.
Is it and isn't it? Is it and isn't it a porn game?
This game, Is It or Isn't It a Porn Game, was initially created by my husband, the Mr. Bingley, wherein he would troll through pages of Steam looking for games with weird, wacky, and wonderful titles, and he would ask me, is this or isn't this a porn game? Now, the results, hilarious. We've played this many a time, both on this podcast and on the Bits and Pieces Gaming podcast while that was still running. Now, for the To Be Decided podcast, we've been trying to kind of cater each round to the theme of the night. So, what I have for you all tonight is a version of Is It or Isn't It a Porn Game, which we will call Is It or Isn't It a Sex Song? So, I am going to give you the title of a song. It should be a fairly well-known song. And what I want to know is, do you or do you not think that this song is secretly or not so secretly about sex? Not to be confused with what I'm hoping to do next week's, which is songs that are used in sex scenes. Which I will find an excuse to do that at one point. But I'm going to give you the first song title. And I want to hear in chat and from Mr. Steve, do you think that this song is secretly about sex? So we'll start off with a fairly easy one. And that is Fireflies by Owl City.
Interesting.
Is it or isn't it about sex?
I just went straight there. I was like, yes.
Okay. Got a yes from Mr. Steve. Anybody else in chat want to take a guess? Do you think the song Fireflies by Owl City is about sex?
They're all now just trying to type it on their phones, looking in Spotify right now, and they're going, and they've got to try and get to that.
What the fuck is that?
They've got to try and get to that point in the song where it actually may or may not actually contain it. Because I've not heard of him, so I don't know. So I'm going yes.
Oh, it was a very popular song in the 2010s.
Oh, I think I do know it. I do know it. Yeah.
Okay. We're not getting any more responses in chat, so I will reveal the answer. Steve, get your head out the gutter. Fireflies is not about sex.
Is it not?
No, it is not about sex in the slightest. However, I'm going to give you another song and ask you the same question. Is this song about sex? The Macarena. Is it or isn't it a song about sex?
Oh, okay. This one might be. I'm going to say yes, it is.
You think it is? I'm going to wait another second or two and see if we get any other comments. I'm surprised Ben isn't voting on these ones. He likes to vote on the video game ones, but mainly because he owns all of the sex games.
Yeah, Sex with Hitler and Sex with Stalin.
Sex with Hitler 2 and Sex with Stalin.
Yeah.
Sex
with Jesus. Well, yeah.
No, I don't think that one's out yet. Time is up, though. I can reveal that the Macarena is a song about sex.
It is!
It's about a woman cheating on her boyfriend with his best friends.
Wow. There we go.
There we go.
Ooh.
So, the next song was a favourite of mine growing up. It is by the artist Pink, and it is called You and Your Hand. Is this or isn't this a song about sex? It could be obvious, or it could be a red herring.
Well, okay. The spelling says probably no, and I think it's a play on it's a play on words, but it's just the way in which it's been written down. So I would say no.
You're gonna say no? Okay. Can reveal that the song "You and Your Hand" by Pink is about female masturbation.
Oh, really? Oh.
Yes, it is. It is about your boyfriend not getting you off and then going to sleep, and then you having a bit of fun while he's asleep.
Oh, right.
Which I didn't realise is an 11, 12-year-old. But it's a really good song. Okay. I'm going to give you two more. I'm going to go for a one that's perhaps slightly less well known, and that is a song by Jason Mraz, who is a favourite of mine. The song is called Butterfly. Is this or isn't this a song about sex?
This is not a song. No.
No?
No.
Okay.
And I don't know this as fact.
Can reveal that this song is about sex.
Oh my God. I clearly don't know enough about music as I thought I did.
You don't know enough about sexy music, Steve.
I do not.
You need to
I think I've
expand
got
your
one
education
right.
on songs about sexy music.
Yeah,
you have, and that was the Macarena. All right, last one. Very famous song. You've definitely heard it, even if you don't know the title. Mr. Blue Sky by ELO.
Oh my God.
Is it or isn't it?
Oh shit.
About sex.
See, this is the only. Well, no, it's not the only song I've heard. I probably do know all of them, but it's most famously the one I know the most of. But lyrically talking, I'm unsure or unaware of its content or whatever. So. But I'm going to say it's a 70s song, though, isn't it? Could be. I'm going to say no.
You going to say no?
Just on the...
I can reveal Mr. Blue Sky is not about sex.
Oh, okay.
It is just a feel-good bop of the year.
All right.
So,
no,
that is you. It is...
That's not 2-0.
You got 2 right out of 5.
Two out of 5.
Too bad.
Yeah.
But... That's all we've got time for tonight on our tiny segment.
Is it? And isn't it? Isn't it? And isn't it? A poem game.
What I will say is, check out a couple of the songs that I've mentioned. Butterfly, although it is about sex, is actually a really catchy song, and it does really get stuck in my head. Is a bit of an earworm. And I mean, if you don't know what Mr. Blue Sky is, get out from under the rock. Go listen to it. You'll be bugging.
Right, I'm going to look that up after we finish that one, Butterfly. But, yeah, I mean, Blue Sky, I'm pretty sure it's been in one of those films that we mentioned at the start, you know. if not one of them, it's should have been. But, yeah, and it's one that gets played quite a lot during the summer because of the, the obvious being Blue Sky. That's the only out of the list. It's the only one I'm confident. I do know it, but I probably do know Fireflies as well. Macarena, I know it. Yes. You plus your hand, no. And Butterflies, like I'm just uncertain.
A little bit more obscure.
Yeah, slightly more obscure. Yeah. But I will search it at the end of the show. But anyway, thanks a lot, Kate, for that. That was another good rendition of Is It or Isn't It? We got another one for you next week, which will be, like Kate said, a secret until then, because we're not going to announce what it is. You're going to have to join us for that one.
Spoil the surprise.
I am not spoiling the surprise at all. But thank you very much, Kate, for being here with me once again, even though it has been rather warm time to sort of like be doing this. But there's never going to be, now that we're coming into we're in spring really, but like now as we're going into summer, we're going to have those times when it's going to be a little bit warmer to be in front of the computer. But as long as we're filling up to doing these episodes, we'll continue to do them whilst it's warm. It's better when it's not, but yeah. But that's all we've got time for this week. Anyway, regardless of how warm it is right now. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you're watching it live and you were here, thanks to everybody in chat for being here and just showing a little support whilst we've been doing this tonight. And thanks to everybody. If you are listening to this at home, in the car, on the way to... Imagine you just gone to the car just to listen to this and not gone anywhere. That's a novel thing to get away from everybody in the house. So you can listen to it.
And just imagine you haven't checked your back seat to see us sitting there talking to you live.
Hello.
You just checked your rearview mirror.
You did. Oh dear, if you had a little accident, I can, yes.
Look out for that pedestrian.
Yeah, no, thanks very much for everybody who have just listened to our podcast. It's much appreciate the fact that you had taken time out to do so. Listen to them anytime you want, whenever you want, where you want. You can find this episode will be going up over on YouTube as well. It's a static thumbnail with this plan. So once it's been put out, this is the unedited version. So if you want to hear that again, you can. It'll be over on YouTube as well. So, but there's just bearing in mind there are two versions that you can listen to. The To Be Decided podcast has its own YouTube, whereas Funny Bits Boy has another of the live version, the one that you'll be watching, where I'm constantly fumbling over my words, as I just did then. But that's it. That's all we've got time for. Thanks very much for listening, and we will see you again next time in the To Be Decided podcast. So thanks, Kate. See you soon.
Thank you. Bye.
Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.